The mysterious rookie. In the depths of a distant star system, an elite squad of alien soldiers, known as the Varkrans, gathered around a campfire on an unfamiliar, desolate planet. The team, hardened by years of experience in interstellar warfare, was joined by a new recruit, a human soldier. The Varkrans, who prided themselves on their physical prowess and combat skills, were skeptical of the human's abilities. As the flames danced, Giro, one of the Varkran soldiers, nodded towards the human who sat quietly, just outside the circle of light. "What's up with him?" Giro asked, his voice low and mocking. Hazra, another Varkran, shrugged as she prepared her meal. "Maybe he isn't cut out for this kind of work," she speculated, her voice tinged with disdain. "He arrived only 10 hours ago. What could have unsettled him so quickly?" Giro smirked and decided to test the human's nerves. He picked up a glowing ember with his field spade and tossed it towards the human. Instantly, the human sprang into action, grabbing his rifle and diving behind a tree, scanning the perimeter with practiced precision. The Varkrans laughed, their voices filled with derision. "A bit jumpy, aren't you?" Giro taunted, his laughter echoed by the others. Drake, the squad sergeant, emerged from the tent and surveyed the scene. He was a veteran with a strict philosophy of packing light and working efficiently. Unlike the other Varkrans, who carried minimal gear, the human had brought an arsenal, enough to level a small city. Drake's eyes narrowed as he approached the fire. "I'd advise against mocking him," he said quietly, his tone serious. Hazra looked puzzled. "Why? We've been in this line of work for years. We can handle ourselves." Drake nodded, acknowledging their experience. "We've survived this long by being cautious and not underestimating anyone," he said, looking towards the human. "He's been through training just like us, maybe even tougher. Let's not judge him prematurely." The human remained silent, his eyes alert, never leaving the darkness beyond their camp. His behavior intrigued and slightly unsettled the Varkrans. They were used to bravado and displays of strength, not this quiet vigilance. As the night deepened, an uneasy silence settled over the camp. The human's presence, his cautious demeanor, and the mystery surrounding his past hung heavily in the air. Unveiling skills. The following day, the squad set out on their mission. Their objective was simple: scout the area and gather intelligence on enemy movements. The terrain was rugged, covered in thick alien vegetation that made navigation challenging. The Varkrans moved with confidence, their bodies adapted to harsh environments, while the human followed, seemingly unimpressed by the obstacles. As they progressed, the squad encountered a series of traps, crude but effective. The Varkrans, overconfident in their experience, nearly fell into several of them. It was the human who noticed the subtle signs: a disturbed patch of ground here, an unusually placed rock there. He silently pointed them out, guiding the squad through the treacherous terrain. Giro, still skeptical, couldn't help but feel a grudging respect. "You have good eyes, human," he muttered, barely audible. The human nodded in acknowledgement but said nothing. His focus remained unwavering, his senses attuned to the environment. As they reached a vantage point overlooking a vast valley, the squad set up a temporary observation post. The Varkrans were eager to relax after the arduous trek, but the human began setting up advanced surveillance equipment. He meticulously calibrated sensors, deployed drones, and set up a secure communication link. His actions were swift and precise, showcasing a level of expertise that surprised the Varkrans. Drake watched with a mix of curiosity and respect. "Where did you learn all this?" he asked, genuinely interested. The human finally spoke, his voice calm and measured. "Special training. We humans have a saying: expect the unexpected. We prepare for all scenarios." The Varkrans exchanged glances. They had underestimated the human. His quiet demeanor masked a wealth of knowledge and experience. As the surveillance equipment started feeding data, the human briefed them on the enemy's movements, displaying a strategic acumen that impressed even the seasoned Varkrans. The day ended with the squad returning to their camp, their respect for the human growing. The initial mockery had faded, replaced by a recognition of his skills and contributions. The human, though still an outsider, had begun to earn their trust. The test of battle. As dawn broke on the third day, the squad received an urgent transmission. An enemy patrol had been spotted heading towards their position. The Varkrans, used to quick skirmishes and guerrilla tactics, prepared for a swift confrontation. They gathered their weapons, ready to engage. However, the human suggested a different approach. "Let's set up an ambush," he proposed. "Use the terrain to our advantage." The Varkrans hesitated. Ambushes were risky, requiring precise timing and coordination, but the human's confidence was unwavering. He quickly outlined a plan, detailing positions, signals, and fallback points. The squad, recognizing his strategic insight, reluctantly agreed. They dispersed into the underbrush, taking up their assigned positions. The human, positioned in a small hollow, set up a remote-controlled explosive device. His eyes scanned the surroundings, every muscle tense, every sense heightened. The enemy patrol, composed of a different alien species known for their brutish strength and simple tactics, approached. As they entered the ambush zone, the human activated the device. A controlled explosion disoriented the enemy, and the Varkrans opened fire from their concealed positions. The skirmish was brief but intense. The enemy, caught off guard and unable to mount an effective defense, was quickly neutralized. As the dust settled, the Varkrans regrouped. There were no casualties on their side, thanks to the humans' planning. Jiro, usually the first to critique, nodded in approval. "That was effective," he admitted. The human smiled faintly. "It's not always about brute force. Sometimes it's about using your head." The squad's respect for the human deepened. He had not only proven his worth, but had also saved them from potential harm. His calm demeanor and strategic mind had turned the tide of the battle. For the first time, they began to see him not just as a rookie, but as an invaluable member of their team. The unexpected ally. As the squad continued their mission, they came across an unexpected sight. A lone alien, injured and unarmed, from a race known for their neutrality in the ongoing galactic conflict. The Varkrans, hardened by years of combat, were ready to leave the alien behind, seeing it as a potential threat. However, the human insisted on helping. "He's not our enemy," the human argued. "We can't just leave him here." The Varkrans were taken aback. Mercy and compassion were rare on the battlefield, especially towards an unknown alien. But the human was adamant. He approached the alien cautiously, speaking in a language the Varkrans didn't understand. The alien responded, its voice weak but grateful. Drake, observing the interaction, frowned. "We're on a mission. We can't afford distractions," he stated, his tone firm. The human looked at him, his expression resolute. "If we ignore those in need, we're no better than the enemies we fight," he countered. Reluctantly, the Varkrans agreed to help. The human treated the alien's wounds and offered food and water. As the alien regained its strength, it revealed critical information about enemy movements and secret bases. The information was invaluable, potentially altering the course of their mission. The Varkrans were astounded. The human's act of compassion had not only saved a life, but had also provided them with a strategic advantage. It was a lesson in empathy and its unexpected rewards. The alien, grateful and eager to repay the kindness, offered to guide them through a safe passage, avoiding heavily fortified areas. As they traveled with their new ally, the Varkrans couldn't help but reflect on the human's actions. He had shown them a different side of war, a side where compassion and strategic thinking could coexist. The human's influence was becoming undeniable, reshaping their approach to the mission and their understanding of what it meant to be a warrior. The enemy within. With the alien's guidance, the squad reached a critical junction in their mission, a hidden enemy base. heavily guarded and well fortified. As they scouted the perimeter, the human noticed something strange. The guards' movements were erratic, and their communication seemed disjointed. There was confusion and disarray within the enemy ranks. The human, with his analytical mind, quickly deduced that there was dissent within the enemy's ranks, a potential power struggle. He proposed exploiting this internal conflict to their advantage. The Varkrans, intrigued by the possibility, listened carefully as the human outlined a plan. They decided to infiltrate the base, using the confusion to gather intelligence and sabotage the enemy's operations. The human, with his technical skills, hacked into the enemy's communication network, feeding them false information and creating further chaos. The Varkrans, posing as defectors, blended in with the enemy soldiers. Inside the base, the squad discovered a critical weakness, a rift between the enemy leaders and their troops. The human's understanding of psychology and group dynamics played a crucial role. He subtly fueled the dissent, spreading rumors and sowing distrust among the enemy ranks. As the situation within the base escalated, the Varkrans took action. They sabotaged key systems, planted explosives, and gathered vital intelligence. The base was in turmoil, with enemy soldiers turning against each other. The squad's actions were swift and precise, a testament to their training and the human strategic mind. When they finally withdrew, the base was in ruins, and the enemy's morale was shattered. The mission was a resounding success, thanks to the human's ingenuity and the squad's execution. The Varkrans, once skeptical of the human, now looked at him with respect and admiration. He had not only proven his worth, but had also taught them valuable lessons in strategy and compassion. The revelation. As the squad regrouped and reviewed the intelligence they had gathered, they uncovered a shocking revelation. The enemy was planning a large-scale assault on a neutral planet, intending to draw other factions into the conflict. The plan was ruthless and calculated, aiming to expand the war and secure their dominance. The Varkrans, despite their hardened nature, were unsettled by the implications. The neutral planet was home to countless innocent lives, and its destruction would be a tragedy. The squad faced a moral dilemma. They could return to their command with the information, or take immediate action to prevent the assault. The human, ever the voice of reason and compassion, spoke up. "We can't let this happen. We have the means to stop them, or at least delay their plans," he argued passionately. "We owe it to those who can't defend themselves." The Varkrans were torn. They had always followed orders, focused on their missions without question. But the human's words resonated with them. He had shown them a different way of thinking, one that considered the broader consequences of their actions. Drake, the squad leader, made the decision. "We stay and fight," he declared. "We'll do whatever it takes to protect the innocent." The squad prepared for their most challenging mission yet. They knew the odds were against them, but they were determined to make a difference. The human, once an outsider, was now an integral part of their team. His influence had changed them, giving them a new perspective on their role in the galaxy. The final stand. The squad launched a daring assault on the enemy's staging ground. It was a risky operation, with little chance of success, but they were determined to try. The Varkrans, skilled in guerrilla tactics, used their knowledge of the terrain and their combat skills to their advantage. The human, leveraging his technical expertise, disrupted the enemy's communications and defenses. The battle was fierce and chaotic. The enemy, caught off guard by the unexpected assault, scrambled to respond. The squad fought with everything they had, their determination and unity driving them forward. The human, once mocked and underestimated, was at the forefront, his leadership and bravery inspiring the others. As the fighting intensified, it became clear that the squad couldn't hold out indefinitely. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but their actions had caused significant damage, delaying the enemy's plans and buying precious time for reinforcements to arrive. In the midst of the chaos, the human made a critical decision. He activated a powerful EMP device, temporarily disabling all electronic systems in the area, including their own. It was a desperate move, meant to cripple the enemy and give the squad a chance to escape. In the eerie silence that followed, the squad made their retreat. The human, carrying the wounded Varkran, was the last to leave. As they regrouped at a safe distance, they watched as the enemy base lay in darkness, their plans in disarray. The squad's actions had bought the galaxy time. The neutral planet was safe for now. The Varkrans, once skeptical of the human, now saw him as a hero. He had proven his mastery not just in combat, but in leadership and compassion. As they awaited extraction, the squad reflected on their journey. They had started as a group of soldiers with a mission, but they had become something more. The human had changed them, showing them the importance of empathy and strategic thinking. They were no longer just warriors. They were protectors, guided by a new sense of purpose. As they boarded the extraction ship, the human looked back at the battlefield. He had proven his worth, not just to the Varkrans, but to himself. He had shown that even in the darkest of times, there was room for compassion and hope. The story of the human rookie and the Varkran squad had just begun, with many more adventures and challenges ahead.